Hi, it's still Friday with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY, and today we are here with another amazing tools that would be able to make penetration testers, bug bounty hunters, and ethical hackers work to be very easy when conducting penetration testing. This tool is not a new tool. We strongly believe that most penetration testers are familiar with this tool since it came out. But today we are still going to bring back this tool as a way of introducing it to the new users who are yet to understand how this tool works and also bit about this tool and its functionalities. We also want to take the time to apologize in advance if our voice sound a bit muffled. We've been done with a bit of cold, and we're not quitting, just like our favorite TV show, The Greatest Showman. The show must go on. So that's the reason why we're still shooting this video today, even though we're under the weather, to make sure that we have something out there for the weekend for you cybersecurity enthusiasts and professionals alike who are passionate about the profession and want to learn something new. FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY is committed, and we would not back down, even though in good health or in bad health. We would always put out things out there for you to learn something new every week. Might not be every day as we planned our schedule, because we have other engagements as well we have aside putting out this content, but also we would not back down whenever we have time um, to put out things out there for you guys. So the only thing that could stop us not to put something out there is maybe we are no more, or the world doesn't exist anymore, or we are strictly busy with work in terms of other engagement aside this free content we give out here. But health issues wise, it's not going to be a limitation. We are committed, we love you guys, and we'll always put out things out there for you guys. So please endure with us. If our voice sound a bit muffled, it's just a little cold, nothing so serious. And we hope that at the end of this training today or this video, you'll be able to learn something new with the tool we are going to introduce to you. So without further ado, let's get started. So today's tool is Tenable Nessus Essential. Everybody's familiar with this tool. If you're a network pen tester, you're a web security expert, you're into bug bounty, ethical hacking, you should be familiar with Nessus anyway. And we've been using this tool for quite some time. But the last time I myself presented this video have used this tool is, if I'm not wrong, is in 2022. And since then, I'm pretty sure they've introduced some new features. I'm not a fan of automation testing, honestly, because understanding the underlying infrastructure is very important. And you can only do this by doing the manual, pen testing, injecting codes, analysis. Why automation tools are good, but when it comes to, getting down to the root of everything, I suggest not to rely strongly on them, because that would also make you lazy. You just have results, vulnerabilities, and what you ought to do, but you do not have idea of what actually might have been missed by these automation tools when they were scanning. And also not to neglect the fact that there will always be a false positives and also false negative as well. So false positive in this essence that something is not wrong, but the tool reports that it's wrong. And false negative is that something is wrong, but the tool doesn't report that it is wrong. So these are the reasons why I myself do not strictly rely on automation tools. They are very good, especially when you know what you're doing. Because once you know what you're doing, using automation tools gives you the belief that whatever result you see, you can be able to tweak it and analyze it to, filter the ones that are false positive and the ones that are false negative. But if you don't know the fundamentals, or you don't know how to manually pen test and target, then relying on automation tools is pointless. It's not useless, but it's pointless in the sense that you're just, it's like a child born with a silver spoon. They don't know what it takes to, make money. They just came into money, and they would always understand money from the perspective that they have to be given onto them, not they have to earn it. But you that is a manual pen tester, you know that nobody gives you shit in terms of money. You have to earn it and you have to work towards it. So even when you now have the opportunity to be given the money for free, you also know how to preserve it because you understand the concept of working for money, not a free handout. So that's why it's good to understand manual pen testing before using automation tools. Don't always rely on automation tools. Automation tools are good, especially if you're handling a big project. You need to start with automation tools first. Then after you've done with your automation tools and analyze the result, then you now filter more endpoints that are vulnerable with your manual pen testing. So a combination of both of them is very good. It's like, okay, you understand the hustle to, work hard for your money, and also you're lucky enough to have free handouts. So by having these two, approach in terms of penetration testing, you can be able to manage both, results, and of course, limit the vulnerabilities or the risk that application might be facing in terms of being exploited by non-ethical hackers or black hats or scammers or whatever, names you ascribe to those who have negative intention when they target a web application. So back to Nessus. Nessus was first launched in 1998 as Nessus Project. It was a remote security scanner. So when you hear the word remote, means you don't have to be on premise. You can remotely, assess a target by just having their domain name or IP address and remotely conduct scan on them. And of course, over the years, Nessus has still maintained that same concept of being a remote scanner, and it was created by Renaud Darrison. Renaud Darrison is an awesome guy. Shout out to him. And also thanks for him contributing into the open source community, because this is one of the things I love about cybersecurity. Out there is always, some good guys, amazing guys, skillful guys. They always contribute towards the open source community by putting out tools. And this also is good for newbies in cybersecurity who are into freelancing and looking for money, to earn some side income before they get a job or stable income. Using all these open source tools also teach you things you should know. Necessarily, you might not, earn money from bug hunting or bug bounty or whatever form of freelance activities you are involved in. But one thing for sure is that most of these tools, big organizations, high profile organizations, they employ these tools in their infrastructure, scanning or testing. So when you have an idea or an overview of how these tools work, it's very beautiful. You will be able to use these tools for them. They don't need to now train you. So it's like when you come to the company and say, okay, I know how to use Nessus Essential. The company doesn't need to say, okay, we need to pass him through the training and teach him how to use these tools. So it's like you already have the knowledge, or what we call the foundational knowledge. And any alternative or subsequent training will be an improvement of the skills you have using those tools. So it's very essential for you to learn. You mustn't use it to win bugs or find vulnerabilities if you're into freelancing or bug bounty hunting. So learn it. Learn the tool is very important. Once again, shout out to Renaud Darrison for introducing this tool as an open source when he created this tool. He's an awesome guy. And after the tool was introduced, it shifted from the GNU or GNU to proprietary license in 2005. So GNU is a recursive word for general license. So general public license, sorry. General public license means that the public is free. It's an open source tool, but now it's not a proprietary license. So not everything is free. So certain part of the application right now is free after 2005, and certain part of the application is not free. So for you to use an extensive version of Nessus means you have to pay some money. And I think, if I'm not wrong, it's a bit expensive for an individual, but companies and organizations as well can, pay for this, especially if they handle projects worth millions or billions of dollars. So get used to these tools. You'll be very familiar with these tools, and use them when you work for organizations that employ these tools in their red team, activities. So that same 2005, it was released as Nessus 3. Ever since then, it has been a proprietary license, so it's no more free in general, but certain functionalities are free. It supports network scanning, IP scanning, web application scanning, and more. We did CVEs. So in terms of CVEs, common vulnerability enumeration, that are released. So for example, let's say you're running an Apache server and it's vulnerable. Nessus is going to scan and tell you the version of the Apache server that is running on your web application, and tell you the vulnerabilities that were discovered and the severity. So severity is very good. It's very important because this now tells you how dangerous the vulnerability discovered can impact your organization's business, or the risk that, pertinent to that vulnerability discovered on your server or web application. So they have different, they have the critical, we have the high, we have the medium, we have the low. So all those things, and we have the informative as well. Sorry about that, we skipped that. So all these severity informations are very important. You have to look out for it. It's very important that you look out for these severity informations. That's the only way you can, understand the vulnerabilities that were discovered in the web application or network that you are scanning. It also generates good reports as well. The last time I used Nessus, it was awesome. Not just the report itself, it generates like a chart, where you have a colorful designs of the various severity. It's like a pie chart, but not a full pie chart. A segmented sphere. So the segmented sphere is like percentage of criticality discovered, the percentage of high risk discovered, the percentage of medium, low, and informative. So this is how Nessus makes its report awesome. That was as of 2022 that I used this tool. So, but it's okay. We can still find a way to try and see the new improvement that was introduced in this tool. And the last point on this description is that to download the tool, you have to visit tenables.com and /downloads Nessus and the question mark. There you will find the various distributions that they have. They have for Linux, they have for Windows, I guess, if I'm not wrong, other operating system, Mac OS, I believe. So just head down to the website and download the version that is pertinent to your operating system. So for us today, we'll be demonstrating this on the VirtualBox Machine, which is running the Kali Linux OS. And this is because we are inclined into penetration testing. So if you are using other Windows operating system, I'm sorry, you go and look for the guys who are going to help you. Kidding. It's still the same process, nothing different. Just that for Windows, you have to install the exe, which is the executable extension name for Windows files or applications when you want to install them. So .exe basically is for Windows. .dmg or pkg is for Mac OS. So DMG stands for disk image and pkg means package. Mac OS can install disk image of a file or package of a file. So understand the different file extensions, and that's how you know what various OS uses in terms of the application installation. So without further ado, let's head on to our VirtualBox machine and get the Nessus Tenable installed. So we log in to our Linux. Now we've already opened the website. You might see some gibberish data after the Nessus. I believe these are cookies, and it's okay. It doesn't matter. Just go to /downloads, and from there you can pick up other informations or directive for you to get to this page. So on the left pane of this tool, you can see we have the Tenable Nessus, we have the Tenable Nessus agent, Tenable Nessus network monitor, Tenable security centers. These are various Nessus applications. So you can go through them. For instance, let's just click one of these for the network monitor. You can see something different here. There's a lot of the .rpm and all the .exe. All those things, you just have to go through them. We're not walking you through an overview of the entire products of Tenables. We are not working there. And of course, we just want to make this video short. So you just go through this. But in our subsequent videos, we promise we'll be putting up a few information about these various Nessus extensions or installations, but not so soon, because we have other things we want to introduce you into as part of the foundation in cybersecurity and other cybersecurity trainings as well. So under here, automatically, it's going to pick up the latest version. You can see here. And if you come here, you can see a summary of the latest release. It tells you this, and you can see the release notes. If you have much time on your side, you can read about it, and you can see it picks the platform. So Ubuntu and Ali Linux are the same. They are based on Debian package, so you can install Ubuntu package on Kali, and you can install Kali on Ubuntu. So they are just basically, as long as they are Debian based, you can install both. So you come here, you check also, it doesn't matter. You can see the information here. They tell you the various forms of Linux you can install this. And you can see here we have the Ubuntu, this, and the AMD. Now, if you scroll, you should find somewhere they said about Kali. You should find somewhere that says you can see Debian. So you select Debian. And if you come here, you can see Debian, AMD 64 we have for Debian, and we have for Kali. So you select this one. It's very important you follow this instruction. You don't want to end up downloading a file that doesn't run on your computer or your VirtualBox machine. So the next thing is we click on downloads, and of course we agree to all this information. We cannot read this. We are not AI. Kidding. You can take your time and read this if you have the time. But for me, I just agree. Anyways, we have millions of packages we work on every day. You cannot read all this I agree stuff. Even the companies knows you don't read it anyway. So don't bother yourself. Well, that's very bad. If you're paying for some services, it's better you read. But if it's free stuff, I'll always skip this because it's free anyway. No need to stress myself. They're already offering me the stuff for free, so I don't have any rights to sue them. So now we are done with downloading. The next thing we want to do, we launch our terminal. Of course, we know this. Every download is always in the downloads directory. So you say cd, of course, you specify downloads, capital D, sorry, no downloads, yeah, and the rest of the letters are smaller letters. Now we just ls to list all the files in our downloads directory, and you can see we have the nessus.deb. Now .deb means it's Debian, so Debian means that the package is Debian based. So if we want to install Debian based package, we know that we have to be a super user. If you're not a super user of the system, then we specify the dpkg -i, then the package we want to install. So dpkg is that we are saying that this package we are trying to install is a Debian based package, and the -i, I don't know what it means, but other arguments like S is like status, L is like list. This I have been using it for quite some time, but I don't know what it means. So if you have an idea of what it is, just drop it in the comment or research about it. It's okay. You mustn't know everything in cybersecurity. Just know the important stuff, which of course we know that if you want to install Debian package, you have to use the sudo dpkg -i and the Debian package file name. So that's what we're going to do right now to install Nessus and get it fired up. So say sudo dpkg -i, and we copy here. We just come here, we copy this stuff. No need to type all this. Then we say paste clipboard. Always paste clipboard. What selection that you enter. Then of course you supply your password. Make sure you're responsible for this, and give it some few seconds or about a minute. Now this part is very important. You don't want to miss this part, because if you miss it, it's going to be a problem. You find yourself going online researching for information on how to start the Nessus or how to use the Nessus. Towards the end of the installation, we are given two important informations. The first information is on how to start the Nessus. This command was given to us. And the next is how to launch the Nessus. So we're given a URL, colon means they are specifying a port. So if you're familiar with how to access a URL via a specific port on the browser, you have to specify the URL, then colon, then port. Commonly done when you're accessing Apache server on your computer. So be familiar with all this little commands. It's not something complex. It's something that you should know. You should know all those things, because They are the basics, they are the fundamentals you should know. So you copy these two stuff, or these two informations. I'll use the word stuff because everything to me is stuff. Kidding. Copy these two informations. Then you open a text file. Okay, you save it. For me, I would always remember this, except this one. I always save it. Of course, a lot of things are going on. You cannot remember everything, right? So on this one, you come here. I'm showing you this right now because they didn't tell you how to stop the service. You don't want to keep Nessus running and, making your system slow in terms of memory consumption when you're doing every other activities. So you come here, you just come here, you change this to stop. So each time you're done with Nessus, you run the second command. Okay. So you stop the entire service of Nessus and you shut it down. You can see they didn't give you that information, but now I'm giving you a hint about this. Always run the second command once you're done with Nessus. It's very important. There's also another command you can also use. I think it's status. I can't remember, but it's okay. You can just research about that. I don't know if you. Okay, let's just change this. We'll try it, and if we make a mistake, we would always ignore that anyway. That's what cybersecurity or ethical hacking is all about. Try something that comes into your mind and it doesn't work, you scrap it off. So enough of the stories. Now we move on to starting the program. So we come here, we copy this. Of course, you need to use the sudo. So we say sudo. Then we come here, we paste to clipboard, always paste to clipboard. And now we hit enter. Now you might say, oh, but there's nothing on the screen to show that Nessus has started. Of course, it has. To be sure that we are running the service, let's come here and we copy the status. Let's see if this command still works. Paste to clipboard, but if it doesn't work, then good. Now you can see our command is right. So it's been quite some time, but luckily it's working. So loaded, preset, active. So this is what you should be looking at. Active means it's running. And it tells you what time since Friday, which is of course currently now, and it's okay, doesn't matter, and tells us information, right? Now we go back to that command we saved, which is on how to access Nessus. We copy this. So we're about to set it up. We're about to set up Nessus. So we come to our browser. Thank you, Tenables. We're about to take you out of the tab. And we come here. We just say paste and go. Now, this is your first installation. You will have this information, right? So you click on Advanced and you click Accept Risk and Continue. Now, this place is very important as well. If you click on Settings, these informations you can do directly from here, but I always advise just don't do this. If you're not skillful, I can do this right now, but that's not the aim. I'm just trying to teach newbies the easiest way to do these things in terms of plugin fields, encryption passwords, and other information. So I won't do this right now. The aim is to introduce this to newbies or people who don't understand how this tool works. So just come here, you tick register offline and you click on continue. Now we have the various Nessus product. If I click on Nessus Expert right now, professionals, managed scanner, they would ask us for information. So if I click on, let's say, manage scanner or Nessus professional, see what's going to happen. We're asked to provide a license key, right? So we go back and we click on Nessus professional. We go back and we go to Nessus manage scanner. We click on this. Then we're asked by this information, right? We go back and we click on Nessus manager and we're asked the same thing, right? So we go back, we choose this Nessus expert, the same thing. Now, why all these things are happening is because all these are not free. So we have to go back and we remove this and we click on continue. Then we come here, we say register Nessus essential. So you can see we ticked offline, right? The reason why we show you that is because for you to understand this, if you tick offline, they're assuming you bought one of their expensive products and you need to obtain the license key to install the product. So do not do that. Now you come here, you select Nessus Essential. So this is the free version anyway. So we click on continue. And of course, we will be asked to provide our name here. So here we'll be putting FIXIT here where we put students, and email, we just put fgw@nothing.com. Doesn't matter. And we can also skip this, but we just register. And we have this activation code. I always advise to keep this. I don't know, but just keep it for future purpose. And just come here and save it, and you click continue. Now, this is also another important part. You also want to have your own custom username and password whenever you log into Tenables or Nessus Tenables. So you provide an information here. I can decide to say, okay, FGW students. And of course, we use the password root, so you can hack me. Kidding. And we just save this to our browser just to remember this whenever we try to log in again. But do not do this if you're actually, not pen testing, or you have sensitive informations about informations you use for your pen testing. Do not save it to your browser, because browsers can be hacked and sensitive information such as passwords can be stolen. So find a way to safeguard your password. Can be any other forms, which of course I cannot list, so you guys cannot have an idea of how I safeguard my password. So just find any way you can safeguard your password. It's very important. And that's it with this. But if you're doing tools like this and you're just using some dummy data such as your username and password, just save it in the browser. There's nothing important here. Even if it's stolen, the information or the scan about Nessus sits on your system, right? So nobody can steal any information with this. Even if they install Nessus and provide that information, if I'm not wrong, I'm pretty sure this information sits on your computer. So now that we are done, you can see here on the right, Nessus is compiling the plugins. So it gives us information that we can only perform a limited activities until the plugins are done. Now you can see it's completed, right? So we can come here and click on new scan, but it's not clicking yet. So let's just click on new folder and let's call this our targets. And we create, okay, let's go to our targets. Then we come here. I think the plugins are still installing. So we just wait for some time, but if it doesn't, then it's okay. We can always demo this another day. And you can see it tells us the version of the Nessus we are using, and it tells us we can use 16. So this license expires on June 20th. And of course, I'm pretty sure they would give us another license 2029 if this is correct, but I'm pretty sure after this period you'll be issued another license as well, like I said. Then advanced, you come here. There are a lot of things you need to know about this advanced. You can see all this information's been installed, and they're telling us we have to restart the server. Then for proxy server, you have to create the host. Yeah, previously, remember when we were trying to install, right? So proxy server, we create the host, the ports, and all the information as well. For SMTP server, so we're talking about email here, right? For custom certificates, you can always paste your certificate of authority here. For password management, you can also, use this here and create a maximum login attempts Then for scanner health, you can see the memory. So this is the memory that is using on our computer. So CPU load out of 100 is using about 21%. So Nessus also needs quite amount of CPU. So you have to also make sure that you do that as well, have a lot of memory space. Then notification. So this tells us a list of things that have been successfully completed by Nessus. Then here is your account information. Here you get your username and your email and your password. And if you want to change to a new password, you can do this here. So let's go to scans. I'm pretty sure this is going to take some time. You can see here, it's still loading. It's still loading. And you can see downloading. So let's just wait. Once this is completed, then we can do the next part of the tool, which is showing you how to, add this in terms of the various scanning you want to do. But before we also do that, let's go to about. We go to scans. Good. There's something I want to show you. It's very important. Okay, yeah, this is TerraScan. I noticed that they introduced something new, which is TerraScan. So TerraScan is a static code analyzer. So if you're into SAST, S-A-S-T, which is static analysis, so infrastructure as a code, it can be installed and run in a number of different ways, and is most commonly used in automated pipelines to identify policy violations before insecure structures or infrastructure is provisioned. So in this case, when they set provision means put in production, right, where people can now use it in terms of the public internet. So to know more about this tool, you should read those talks. This is something new they introduced, and in the previous Nessus I was using, I didn't see this TerraScan. Maybe it's been there, I don't know. But go through it. It's very important if you also want to analyze codes. Go through this TerraScan and you can install it. But we wouldn't be doing this as we are not doing static code analysis. And as we promised in our subsequent videos, I'm pretty sure we'll be looking into this and find a way to use this part of the Nessus, and we'll also tell you about it. So let's go back to my scans and we click on downloads here to see what is left. And we still have a lot of plugins still downloading. You have to be patient, okay? Let's just be patient about it. And here you can see a lot of information that have been giving us here about the news, latest news, about what's going on, bypass in Azure AI and ML. So you also look out for these informations as well. Like I said, in cybersecurity, don't just rely on one source of information. Anything you're doing, always open your eyes. Be very good. What makes you a skillful hacker or skillful cybersecurity expert is how to source information, and not just sourcing information, narrowing it down to something that is very clear and concise. So in the sense that if I launch my Google search engine or my Bing or whatever search engine I use, and I type information, of course, the response will be about thousands, millions, or billions of data, right? So the first thing I have to do is to go through these informations, filter it, and pick up the things that I want to know about, okay? Not everything that needs me to, how do I say it? It's not every information that is important to me when I go to the internet. I only look out for what I want or what I need that is exclusively related to what I'm researching for. So always look at all these informations. There's always something hidden. There's always something new to learn every day. And that's what makes you different from other cybersecurity professionals. Others might be probably waiting for others to discover these informations and explain it to them. Of course, leaving them to only what that user or that instructor is explaining. So it's like a limited information they have. But the instructor himself who found this information and disclosing it to the public definitely would have assessed hundreds or thousands of materials to be able to filter and refine this information to that single training they gave to you. So even though if they've given you a very concise training, they know 1 billion topics because it took them thousands of searches for them to get that one information. You see the difference between you and them. So you're learning from the instructor's perspective, but they have learned from thousands of research. So it's okay. Not everybody's going to be that skillful, and not everybody's going to be, that, crazy in terms of being very obsessed with cybersecurity. And I'm not trying to, make you feel less or trying to force you to be like others who are very passionate and explore these resources. But once in a while, just take out your time, explore the tools. Like you can see here, they're giving us a few informations. You can just click on, read more to know what's happening. And that's something you can talk about or something you can share with others as well. So this is taking time. I don't know. We will just sign out and we sign in again. If it doesn't work, then we'll have this information compiling, which is going to take some time. So we'll be ending this video here so we don't shoot out this video to exceed about 30 or 40 minutes. So that's it with installing Nessus. Next week, we promise for Tools Friday next week, we wouldn't be doing any tools demonstration. We'll be showing you 1 or 2 tricks about Nessus or how to use Nessus to scan your target, as this would take a lot of time and we do not want to keep you waiting and, extending this video beyond the number of durations. So we have finally come to an end of this week's episode, and we hope you've learned something new. If you find this video interesting, please do not forget to give us a like by tapping that thumbs up button, subscribe by hitting that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified when we post another episode on Tools Friday with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY. Thanks for watching and see you next week. Bye for now.